Well, you know, I'm here at Guest Services to get my third visit, and they left a really cute sign. It says they're taking a restroom break. That's great communication from SeaWorld. I love it. I have made it back to SeaWorld San Antonio for another Barracuda Strike construction update. The park hours have changed. I'll dive into that a little later, but here's your reveal for the week of Barracuda Strike, the B&M family invert. Not looking too much like a family coaster, but I see that there is some concrete work being done right here. We're gonna get closer to take a look, and I'm sure when we get on the other side, there's gonna be a lot of updates on the station. There goes Steel Eel. I see some ladders there at the very bottom of this construction area. The dirt looks like it has been moved around a bit, but that's for that concrete that's getting poured. I don't know, maybe that's the on-ride photo picture taker thing, I don't know. And there's a blue genie lift in there. I don't see the crane, AKA Ralph, because one of you keeps calling it Ralph, so we'll call it Ralph. Maybe Ralph is no longer on site, I don't know. There's a couple of smaller pieces of equipment there, so let's get even closer. So from this angle, right next to that blue genie lift, I see what looks like materials used for pouring more concrete footers. It's resting sideways there, it's that white piece. And a little further back, it looks like more of the dirt has been moved around. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with all that, because my first theory was they'll recreate the pathway that was already there. They probably had to dig it up so that the equipment could move around in there, such as the crane. Probably needed more room to work with, but now that that's out of the way, they really could do anything, I guess. Those lower sections of the ride look like maybe there'll be a couple of feet extra clearance dug out underneath them, because the coaster train is gonna hang down an extra, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet or further, and then the ride envelope will extend a bit further beneath that. But it looks great. This color scheme, it's really popping right now. The fence is done. Yeah, the fence is definitely done. It looks good. I can't wait to see the water finally rise back to its normal height. And I think we can kind of tell where that's gonna be. It's probably gonna be right at the edge of those concrete walls that are being built right now out of wood. I think the water is gonna come right up to that. Very cool. No, there's no more Ralph. There is a front end loader. Might as well call it Casey. And they have been moving around a lot of dirt. This is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if right here, another pathway opens up in the future. Here's a different angle of all this dirt that's been moved around. And there's that piece right there that I was talking about. It's very interesting looking. It looks like 2 squares are being constructed, and there's going to be something with concrete going in right there, but I don't know what's going to be on top. That is very interesting looking. And there's all those pieces of equipment I said, the smaller Bobcat, the little front end loader. It looks like there's 2 front end loaders right there that are more red and white. But what is this? Way up there on the far right side of that shot, at the very top, there's an anemometer slowly spinning. That's cool to see. And there's actually another one that's rotating left and right, closer towards me. That's cool. So there's one that's measuring wind direction, and a separate one is measuring the wind speed. But these things that are coming in that are going to be filled with concrete, I'm trying to see if they're directly under the track. I guess they're not. They're immediately on the side closest to me. Yeah, it's close. They're not directly under it though. If one of those is for taking your picture, what's the other one for? Oh, and also, what's this over here? They got a lot more. I'm assuming again that the water of the lake is going to come right up to this whole area, right up against it. So they could have, I don't know, a waterfall. They could have a splash effect similar to Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. I would not be surprised. Trying to see if those are pipes that are sticking up out of the ground there, or if it's just wood. I'll try to get a better look. I know a lot of you guys are wondering Is this clearance right here tall enough when this coaster comes right overhead? Or are they gonna have to reroute this path right here? Because I'll be honest, yeah, this is a really tight squeeze. I'm only like 10 feet underneath that, maybe 15, I don't know, but we will see, guys. This is gonna be such a cool shot, regardless of where this pathway ends up. There's a lot more material there. You see the ground has been pretty smoothed out, pretty level. Unfortunately, there's a fence kind of blocking the view, but you can see all of these wood panels propped up where they're gonna pour concrete and do who knows what. Well, howdy, partner. There's a bunch of wood in the station. That's crazy. They're going all out with this. That's a pretty fun looking queue line that's already taken shape, and you can see string going across the top of a lot of those pieces to keep them perfectly in line and at the right height. They've got it on both sides of the station. That's pretty cool. Again, there's no transfer track here, and there's a lot more stuff that's been attached to some of the orange support structure, different pipes and tubes, running electrical and pneumatics, all that good stuff in the station. Our view is kind of blocked actually, but you see a lot of electrical components hanging down. They're getting this thing ready. It's pretty cool to see. There's all the spools that are going to continue to be unraveled and ran from one end of the station all the way up the lift in some cases. As we get along further and further in the construction of the unload and load platform, we'll see these long wooden pieces going across the top. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times before they'll stop putting those pieces on. So there'll be 7 of those long wooden pieces going across the top. Now let's get a view through our favorite window. Here's our window, but first I noticed something interesting. I commented on one of these vertical silver pieces right here running up the track spine. There's another one, and then there's a whole bunch of them that go underneath the lift hill. I believe that's for tucking in a cable that connects to a proxy. I'm gonna make my way over here, and yeah, there it is. You can kind of see it there. There's a green proxy right there that should have a cable attached to it soon, if it doesn't already, but notice that these things stop right before that proxy. So I believe that's conduit to help run a cable, but okay, now we'll look through our favorite window. And it looks pretty chaotic. There's the ride envelope thing right there, looking good. Some of the concrete looks pretty wet actually. Oh, and that's because they have poured it on top. Remember, that was more, I'm not gonna say hollow, but that wasn't there before. Now they have added that concrete. They just gotta torque down the bolts at a later time. We can see though, some railing has popped up in the station. And I don't know if those are bolted to the ground yet, probably not. They look like they're zip tied together. So they're gonna be adding more of that over time. What else? Over here, they were digging a lot last week. Oh yeah, they've got some stuff sticking out of the ground. That's bright orange. Spray painted orange, I should say. Don't know what that's gonna be. Could be lights, could be lights. This is looking good though. A lot of activity has happened. Nothing is happening today. It is the weekend, and my theory is they work Mondays through Fridays. This is a great angle of everything. It's so smoothed out now. The digging is, well, obviously still going, but a lot of stuff looks like it's about to be installed. Judging by all these markers, there's so many markers. It kind of looks like a path of some sort is gonna be coming here, and that maybe these markers are for lights. I don't know. There has not been any updates on these orange markings here, but they are still here. And my theory on this right here being the control booth still looks like it's true. We see a bunch of cables being ran from the station towards whatever is in the black box. And it looks like this concrete over here, where the red toolbox is, has been freshly poured. There are now steps leading up to what I assume is the maintenance shed. We do have a forklift over here behind the steel eel shop, and we can kind of see under one of those black tarps, it looks like it's resources to make more concrete. I think that's what that is. If it's not, then it could just be mulch. I don't really know. So I'm not sure how I missed this, guys, because this is a pretty big update, but thanks to my former coworker, Leroy, who's still working here as a mechanic, he informed me the chain has been installed. So look very closely. You'll see a chain wrapped around that lower sprocket wheel. And he told me how they installed it, but I'm gonna go get a better view of it. It might still be hard to see, guys, but you can see a bunch of chain links as I pan up and down the lift hill here. It's in there. The chain has officially, fully been installed. And the way that they did it, according to Leroy, was that they attach it to a cable and they use a bunch of pulleys to basically pull the chain all the way up. But I know they start at the base and yeah, they pull that thing all the way around. And then once they pull it back far enough, using all those pulleys and stuff, because the chain weighs so much, it's one of the most labor-intensive parts of the install. Then they have to connect it. They have to make sure that it's very tight. And then this has a chain tensioner on it if it's like the other B&Ms. And the counterweight helps with that chain tensioner to keep the amount of weight on it so it never slips off the gear teeth. I actually bumped into a couple other people today. So thanks to Leroy, but also thanks to Michael. And then there was a whole family that I met. A couple of kids came up to me and said, "Hi, Hennisphere." That was really nice. I enjoyed meeting you guys. And Michael was telling me that he believes that work being done on the backside or the unload side of the station of Barracuda Strike could be an aquarium. And that is something I've thought about. I think I've only mentioned it in one video, but I have also talked about a PLC room possibly being that structure that's being built right now. And he could be right though, because there does seem to be a little bit more activity on that unload side of the platform. I wouldn't be surprised if it is a photo booth or an aquarium like he was saying. So thanks to Michael for that theory. And also, a big thing that's happening here at SeaWorld is the hours have changed. Again, I think you can expect videos to be uploaded like this every Wednesday from now on. I can't be here on Fridays anymore because the park is closed January and February, except for Saturdays and Sundays. The only exception is MLK Junior Day, which is Monday, January 19th. You should also know that the hours are different. So the park is open 10:30 to 5 p.m. So if you're trying to get your visits in to hit 15 to get access to the Barracuda Strike preview event, you have to get 15 visits by February 24th. Well, it's gonna be difficult, guys, because there's only, I think, 18 days or so left. Saturdays and Sundays with one Monday between now and February 22nd. That is a Sunday. That is your last day to get your final visit in before the cutoff on the 24th. Park will not be open, as far as I know, the 23rd or 24th. Anyway, there's so much more coming to the channel, including something special for the 50,000 subscriber milestone. It's going to be an origin story, kind of my YouTube channel, not necessarily me. That will probably be in the 100,000 subscriber video. But yeah, 50,000 subscribers, it'll be about Hennisphere lore, part 1, and where it all started. And you can expect that video to come out sometime around February 1st is when I'll release that video. But we're gonna hit the 50,000 subscriber mark this week. I believe it, because the video with Jeffrey Seabird and the touring of the construction site at Fiesta, Texas is going so well. That video is doing a lot of numbers. And also, there's eventually, whenever I have time, there'll be content from Florida parks and California parks. Disney, Universal, Busch Gardens, SeaWorld, all the above. Vlogs from there will be coming soon. And there'll be a lot more stuff happening later in the year. So thanks for watching, everyone. If you didn't learn anything in this video, just remember these 3 things. No good deed goes unpunished. Subscribe to me on YouTube. And like our friends at Intamin always say, when you're feeling stuck in life, push down, pull up. That was another day in the Hennisphere.